Magsitayo po tayong lahat para sa ating panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak at ng Diyos Espiritu Santo. Ama naming Diyos, maraming salamat po sa pagkakataong ito na ipinagkaloob mo sa amin. Pag-uusapan po namin ang mga mahalagang bagay sa pagpupulong na ito. Naway samahan mo po kami sa pagkakataong ito na linisin mo po anumang makita mong masama sa aming puso at pag-iisip. Magtulungan po sana ang bawat isa na ipahayag anuman ang mga magagandang opinyon sa ikatatagumpay ng aming mga layunin. Dagdagan mo po kami ng karunungan at higit sa lahat ng pananampalataya na magagawa po namin ang mga bagay na mahihirap gawin sa pamamagitan ng tulong mo at awa mo po sa amin. Pagkaloob mo po ang kapayapaan sa buong panahon ng aming pagpupulong. Hinihiling po namin ang lahat ng ito sa pangalan ni Jesus na aming dakilang tagapagligtas. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak at ng Diyos, Espiritu Santo. Good morning, everyone. I acknowledge the presence of the member of Bids and Awards Committee, Engineer Emerlinda C. Villaruel, our chairperson.
Good morning.
Mrs. Idelisa B. Mauricio, our vice chairperson.
Present.
Engineer Antonio B. Fernandez, a regular member.
Present.
And Engineer Salvador T. Ripalda, our provisional member.
Present.
From our DPWH, Engineer Adelina Pito, Engineer Paulo Garcia,
Present.
Engineer Mark Peter Recto, Engineer Patrick Ascanio, Engineer Joel Estacio, Engineer Michael Angelo D.G. Mariano,
Present.
Engineer William Samoranos, and Mr. Denver Largosa. From our back secretariat, Engineer Janelle Lucinario, Miss Kristen Rose de Guzman, Mrs. Marjorie Kupkupin, and Mrs. Alitea Godoy. From our observer, Mrs. Luisa Santiago from COA via Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. I acknowledge the presence of the members of Bids and Awards Committee from TWG, from back secretariat, and from back members are present. There is a quorum. Today, we will have a pre-bid conference for the procurement of civil works from ID number 25OA0021 to 25OA0028. And to discuss the technical specification for the projects to be bid on November 8, 2024, Engineer Paulo F. Garcia for ID number 25OA0021 to 25OA0024, while Engineer Michael Angelo D.G. Mariano will discuss the technical specification for contract ID number 25OA0025 to 25OA0028. Engineer Paulo.
Next month. Hindi ka kabisa DID. Next din pa. Up to 24. 24. Up to. Meron. Hi. Good morning, everyone. For the following specification shall apply for contract ID 25OA0021 to 25OA0024. Material testing requirements shall conform with the relevant provisions of DPWH Standard Specifications for Public Works and Highways Volume 2. Structural design references from American Concrete Institute ACI 318M-14 and detailing of reinforcing steel bar references from ACI 315. Construction tolerances shall conform with the allowable deviations from ACI 117-06. Design of micropile foundation references from USDOT FHWA publication, Micropile Design and Construction. Allowable construction tolerances shall conform with the same. Micropile shall have a design length in accordance with the detailed engineering drawings. In case of absolute refusal from very hard strata before the specified length is achieved, a minimum of 3 meters drilled through rock shall be provided. Test pile shall be indicated and prepared for a pile integrity testing. Upon passing the requirements of the PIT, a high strain testing may be performed to allow comparison of the actual pile soil strength to the specified pile soil strength. Construction of production piles may start upon the approval of the engineer based from the results of the test conducted. Test piles may be used as production piles at the approval of the engineer. Reinforced concrete shall develop the required compressive strength from the detailed engineering drawings. Reinforcing steel shall have a minimum yield strength of 415 megapascal. Actual tensile strength should exceed the actual yield strength by a factor of at least 1.25. Actual yield strength shall not exceed the specified yield strength by 18,000 psi. Detailing requirements for special moment resisting frames shall be observed. For contract ID 25OA0021 to 25OA003, the submersible pump shall have a capacity of 2.0 CMS compatible with the specified generator sets. All electronic and mechanical equipment shall be verified to be compatible with existing equipment on site before delivery and installation. For contract ID number 25OA0024, the submersible pump shall have a capacity of 0.6 cubic meter per second, compatible with the specified generator sets. All electronic and mechanical equipment shall also be compatible with the provided generator set. Acceptable and prevailing construction methodologies shall be observed. Yun lang po.
Good morning, everyone. For the standard specification and general requirements for the contract ID numbers 25OA0025 to 25OA0028, all work shall comply with the DPWH standard specification for highways, bridges, and airports. For the construction of facilities for the engineers, the contractor shall prepare a field office in accordance with the specifications indicated with the dead plans on a suitable location that is easily accessible. The office shall also include the testing laboratories as well as the necessary electricity, water, drainage, and telephone services for the use of the engineer and their staff. For other general requirements, all permits shall be secured prior to the start of any construction activities, and provision of required billboards and signages must be undertaken. Requirements for occupational safety and health programs shall be strictly followed with safety officers stationed within the project site. Mobilization shall begin upon securing the aforementioned requirements. For the removal of structures and obstructions, the item shall consist of the removal, wholly or in part, and satisfactory disposal of all buildings, fences, structures, old pavements, abandoned pipelines, and any other obstructions which are not designated or permitted to remain. All salvageable material shall be removed without unnecessary damage in sections or pieces which may be readily transported and shall be stored by the contractor. For the excavation, where the plans show the top portion of the road bed to be selected for topping, all unsuitable materials shall be excavated to the depth necessary for replacement of the selected topping to the required compacted thickness. Unsuitable material removed shall be disposed in the designated area shown on the plans or as approved by the engineers. For the reinforced concreting works, the item shall include of the furnishing, placing, and finishing of concrete in buildings and related structures, flood control and drainage, ports and water supply structures in accordance with the required specifications, conforming to the lines, grades, and dimensions shown on the plans. Portland cement, conforming to the requirement of the Blue Book, shall be used with concrete aggregates, conforming with the requirements of ASTM C33. The reinforcing steel bars used shall conform to the requirements of ASTM A615 for grade 40 and grade 60 deformed plain and steel bars. Consistency of concrete shall be workable in the required position, allowing flow around reinforcing steel without isolating the coarse aggregates. Location of cold joints and construction joints shall be discussed with the building designer. Fabrication and installation of reinforcing steel bars and formwork shall be accomplished based on the construction schedule, and concrete pouring permit shall be secured before the start of casting. That's all po. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Garcia and Engineer Mariano. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, Engineer Pahimna will discuss the documents to be submitted by the bidders. Thank you.
Again, good morning. From ID number 25OA0021 to 25OA0024. Major category of works, pumping, construction of pumping station. For ID number 25OA0025 to 25OA0028, flood control, construction of drainage, closed and open conduits. Similar category of work shall be considered in the evaluation of the work experience required for the contract to be bid. Please refer to DO number 117 series of 2017 revised guidelines for the determination of major and similar categories of work. The required key personnel and minimum years work experience, 5 years and general and 3 years and relevant. Project engineer, project engineer, DPWH accredited. Engineer, materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer. Safety officer, certified DOLE with 40 hours CHHP seminar. Foreman, steelman, operator, welder, electrician, and unskilled laborer. For the required equipment, for ID number 25OA0021 to 25OA0024R. Backhoe with breaker, concrete vibrator, welding machine, dump truck, water pump, bagger mixer, bar cutter, bar bender, and minor tools. For ID number 25OA0025 to 28. Backhoe with breaker, payloader, dump truck, water pump, water truck, plate compactor, road grader, concrete vibrator, concrete shredder, bar cutter, bar bender, sealer, joint, welding machine, barricade, flasher light, and minor tools. For the laboratory equipment, please refer to DO number 11 series of 2017 for the minimum materials testing equipment. Documents to be submitted by the bidders. For Class A documents, legal documents, submit the PhilJAB Certificate of Platinum Registration based on GPPB Resolution number 15-2021. For the technical documents, pickup or special pickup license in case of joint venture. Statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contract, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the nature to be bid. Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract similar to the contract to be bid, adjusted to current price using Philippine Statistic Authority. Current price index should have a contract amount equivalent to at least 50% of the ABC. A contract shall have considered similar to the contract to be bid if it has the same major categories of work. For the financial documents, the bidder's audited financial statements showing, among others, the bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Tax return filed and taxes paid through the BIR, electronic filing and payment system. Computation of an FCC of at least equal to ABC computed using the prescribed formula. Ma'am Tin pa next na. For the Class B document, it is valid only for a joint venture agreement. Each partner of joint venture shall submit the respective PhilJAB Certificate of Platinum Registration in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of the IRR of RA 9184. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitute compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all of its ongoing contracts and audited financial statements. Submission and receipt of bids is composed of technical proposal and financial proposal. For the technical proposal, PhilJAB Certificate of Platinum Registration and Membership, pickup license and registration, special pickup license if joint venture, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid except under conditions provided under the rules. Original copy of bid security with validity period of 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. The procuring entity may request the bidders to extend the validity of their bid securities beyond 120 calendar days prior to their expiration. If the funding source for the procurement project has yet to be approved and more effective. The bidder shall submit a bid securing declaration or any form of bid security, cash or cashier's check, manager's check issued by a universal or commercial bank equivalent to 2% of the ABC, bank draft guarantee or a revocable letter equivalent to 2% of the ABC, surety bond callable on demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security equivalent to 5% of the ABC, and the net financial contracting capacity or NFCC. For the project requirements, organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors, key personnel to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. List of contractors' major equipment units, which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certifications of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project, as case may be, and original duly signed omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 25.3 of the IRR. You may use the revised format of the OSS or omnibus sworn statement. Contents of second envelope. Bid form in accordance with the form prescribed format. Bid price in the bill of quantities. Detailed estimates and cash flow by quarter. Any bid submitted after the deadline for submission and receipt of bids prescribed by the procuring entity shall be declared late and shall not be accepted by the procuring entity. Bid submissions may be done manually or electronically, but bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. For the financial and technical envelope shall be book-bounded on manual submitted of bids. All documents requirement in financial and technical envelope are duly signed by the bidder and properly tagged for easy verification. Please submit the updated PhilJEP certification of platinum registration. All assigned project engineer of the contractor shall be accredited by the DPWH. The procurement of the projects is undertaken through early procurement activity or EPA in accordance with the attached GPPB Circular 06-2019 guidelines on the implementations of early procurement activities, which state and its implementing guidelines that EPA shall refer to the conduct of procurement activities from posting of the procurement opportunity, if required, until recommendation of the Bids and Awards Committee, to the hope as to the award of the contract for goods to be delivered, infrastructures to be implemented, and consulting services to be rendered in the following fiscal year pending approval of the respective funding source. The award of contract for procurement projects undertaken through EPA may be made only upon approval and effectivity of their respective funding sources, to wit, GAA, Corporate Budget, Appropriations Ordinance, Loan Agreement in the case of FAPs, the reenactment of the previous year's budget, which constitutes the current year's authorized budget when authorized by the Constitution, law of rules. In evaluation of bids, The financial component of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The box shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid. For price completeness, no price and required item non-responsive, indicating a 0 or a dash free to the GOP. All prices are deemed to include all taxes. Bids not addressing or providing all the required items in the bidding documents, including where applicable BOQ, shall be considered non-responsive. For arithmetical corrections, bid price and figures versus words prevail. Total price versus unit price per item, unit price prevails. Total price versus actual sum of component items, actual prevails. And unit cost and detailed estimate versus unit cost and BOQ prevails. During post-qualification, the submitted documents requirement like legal requirement, technical requirement, financial requirement shall be checked and verified. If the bid is above ABC, disqualified. During contract award, the contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to the lowest calculated and responsive bid. As a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted, the successful bidder shall be notified through the issuance of notice of award within the validity period and must be confirmed by the successful bidder in writing within 10 days upon the receipt thereof in accordance with Section 37.2.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Pahimna. There are no further questions. The pre-bidding conference is hereby adjourned at 9:33 a.m. Thank you.